when I came back, my Bible, my money, my phone was gone, and they left the earpiece for me.
There's not much to do when all I can is think.
Hello, lovely people. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Nakiuti, and I created this channel purposely to cover places that I travel to, anything relating to food and fun, and then anything which is worth sharing. Kindly subscribe, like, share, and comment, and let's keep the fun rolling. Grab a glass of juice, sit down and relax whilst you listen to my story. So today I am coming to talk about my journey to the UK from Ghana. Yes, it wasn't an easy journey, but in the end, it was worth it. It was worth the struggle. It was worth the determination. Yeah, so in 2020, I decided to travel out of the country, but I thought it was easier said than done. I had to, first of all, write the IELTS examination. That's the basics that is needed to be able to travel and work as a nurse. So in 2020, I said, okay, let me try and see if it's possible. But along the line, I stopped. There was no motivation, there was no determination, there was no focus. So I gave up. So somewhere in 2021, I gathered the vim, I gathered the momentum to start again. So I started by watching YouTube videos, learning materials online and offline. And also I decided to enroll for a class. Yeah, so all this while I was working alongside. So when I go to work, then I go to class, or I go to class, then I come to work, or if I'm off duty, then I just go back home. Yeah, it wasn't easy because in that same year, my father was also not feeling well and he was getting poorly. Yeah, may he so rest in peace. Um, I attended the classes for a while and then I stopped and I was doing self studies at home. It wasn't easy because you need to motivate yourself. You need to keep pushing yourself. You need to be determined and get it going. Sometimes I come back from work, I'm so tired and I go like, why am I even stressing? I'm working in Ghana, I'm being paid. So why this hassle and stress to travel out of the country? But then if you are determined to do something, you go the length and breadth to do it. I kept pushing, but unfortunately, I registered for my first exams in July, and in July, I lost my dad. Like, it was crazy. I was mentally shattered, and all you can imagine. I had to postpone it to August. So I wrote my first exams in August. So even before the exams, learning became a bit difficult for me. I couldn't focus. You will understand when you've lost a loved one, like that feeling. Everything was messed up in my brain, but I still needed to do it. Yeah. A week after my dad passed away, I had to come home because I wasn't staying at home. I came home to see the family, and another incident happened. I was on my way to see a friend and I was scammed like 2,000 cedis plus my phone. I was using a Samsung phone. I didn't believe in those things that people will tell you. Go, okay, I heard this thing back on campus that they'll tell you go for your friend's laptop, go for her password, go for their ATM cards and their password and bring everything. And you would, let me say, Johnly go and then bring everything. I didn't know it was real till it happened to me. Yeah. So a week after my dad died, I went home and I was going to see a friend. On my way, one guy approached me and well dressed. He was like, he's going to a church, but he seemed lost. So, can I direct him to where the church is? And I'm like, oh no, I don't know where the church is. And I was like, oh, okay. He would ask someone. So, just when I was leaving, just when I finished talking to him and I was about to leave, one guy passed by, and then he was like, he spoke to the guy and was like, you don't know me, but the way you spoke to me earlier, he was talking to the guy, the way the guy spoke to him earlier, he wasn't so pleased, but because he's a person of God, he just wants to tell him that it's just nice to be strangers. Sorry, it's just nice to be nice to strangers. Yeah. So he said something and he was like, anyway, God has laid something on my heart to tell you that wherever your mom is, she'll be fine. So the other guy acted so surprised and was like, oh, yeah, yeah. His mom had an accident and she's in the hospital. She's not feeling good. It's like, no, she will be delivered. She'll get well soon. And I was like, please, I'm leaving. So when I was going, the guy who was prophesied, let me say prophesied to, called me and was like, ah, do you know the guy somewhere? I was like, no. Okay, the guy, before that, the guy also told me that I should be careful not to be walking barefooted. I was like, oh, okay. And he said some other things, but I've forgotten. So when I was going, then the guy told me whatever he said was true. Like, he's surprised. I was like, why don't you go for the man's number? I'm like, oh, no. Like, let's just talk to him and see. I don't know how come I was carried away. Then we went back to the guy. He also went to one shop, like pretending to be asking for a direction or making a call. Then we went to him and was like, oh, can we get your number? So the other guy he prophesied to was like, oh, man of God, can I sow something into your life? And he was like, no. If I do that, it means I'm selling the grace God has given to me. These things kept carrying me away. Then he started, do you have money at home? I want you to go and give thanks to God when you go to church. And I'm like, oh, okay, no worries. Then he said, I should take, is it 10 cities? And then when I go to church on Sunday, I should use it as an offertory. So when I was about going, I was like, I'm seeing things like people are trying to work against you. I don't know. And I was so carried away. I don't know what happened. Then he asked something. He asked if I had money at home. And I'm like, no, I don't have money. But the money I have is money for my dad's funeral. Like, we're making preparations for my dad's funeral. Then he was like, is the money mine? I'm like, no, someone sent it to me. Then he was like, Sika Phoebe, like, there's a dirty money in the midst of my money, which is going to affect me like something. So he wants to give me a direction. Meanwhile, let's find a place and stand where we can pray. So he was like, okay, let's just cross the street. I think he suggested a place. So we crossed and then we went there. We sat, there was a small wall. So we sat on the wall and we got talking. When I got there, he did some things like that cowrie that they put in your hand and they'll tell you spit in it. Then he'll turn the back of your hands and you see the saliva behind your palm. Then he'll tell you, yes, they've drilled holes in your hands that whatever work you do, the money will just drip out of your hand. And I believed, like, I was so carried away, and up till now it baffles me. We got talking. It's like they want to do this and this to your mom. They want to do this and this to your mom. And like he was saying certain things, and I'm like, oh, okay. So he said, you give me a direction to pray when I go home. And I'm like, okay. Then he was like, I should take all the money that I have, then put it in a Bible, put a piece of paper in it, something like some direction be. So I was like, oh, okay. Then he told the other guy to buy anointing oil and come. He'll pray on it so that he takes it back to his mom. So I was like, oh, okay. So when I was about to leave, then the guy was, before I would leave, the guy was like, man of God, can I say a word to my sister? Like he was calling me his sister. So he was like, this man, what he's saying looks like it's so true. Why don't I ask him if he can spare me some time and then do the direction for me? Like, because the things so that I don't mess up with the things he's saying. Then I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know. I'm like, okay. So I asked him, and then he was like, he's going for a program, but he would consider and help me out. So he said I should go home, get a Bible, get a piece of paper, come with the money I have at home, withdraw the money in my account, and come back. Then he told me the money I'm going to withdraw, I should make sure when I finish with the direction, I go and deposit it back into the account. Then he was like, what did I say? And I said, he said when I finish, I should go and deposit the money back into the account. Can you imagine? I was running to go and withdraw the money and go and meet him back. I went to the first vendor. The man said he didn't have money. I think it was 1,000 cedis or something. And I was pissed. I was angry. Why doesn't the man have the money? I ran to another place. I got home, took my kid brother's Bible, took the money I had, and went to withdraw the money. In addition, I took every money I had in my bag, like even 1 cedi. I added everything. Then I sent it. On my way to meet him, I was like, what if it's a scam? Then I was like, oh, I shouldn't think evil for a man of God. Then I went. So when I bought the money, I was like, oh, okay. Then he told the first guy to go and stand by a light pole and then recite the Lord's Prayer. The man shouldn't go with his phone because phone is a means of communication. It can communicate messages to them. Like in spirit, it can communicate message to the spirit world. So the man left his phone with me. When I was sitting, I was thinking, why does this man trust me so much that he left his phone for me? Little did I know that is a planned thing. So this man went, came back, and then it was my turn. I also left the money, 2,000 cedis, plus my Samsung A51 fresh phone that I have bought. I left it there, plus my earpiece and the Bible. Then I went to stand by the pool. Before I was going, he called me and said, my sister, have faith. It looks like you are scared. Don't be scared. Loosen yourself and then let God help you. Like fight whatever that is going on. So I went, recited, and then when I came back, my money is. When I was going, I just turned and I saw a car speed off from where we were sitting. And when I came back, my Bible, my money, my phone was gone, and they left the earpiece for me. I wasn't surprised when I got there and they were not there. I was like, oh. So it was, my instincts were right. I was just shattered and I walked quietly back home. I couldn't even go and see my friend. Yes, I think before that, what made me start believing was he was like, "Do I know Amma?" And the friend I was going to see was called Amma. Like, where from this? I got home and I couldn't cry. I couldn't tell anyone. I went straight to bed and then I slept. They went with my phone. I was mourning my dad and they went with my phone as well. I had to replace that 2000 cedis because that money was for my mom. I had to replace my phone because I have an upcoming examination. So I was supposed to vomit like 4,000 as at that time, like within a week, and my head was bashing. Stay tuned for the remaining part of the story. I'll see you in my next video. See ya.